In this video we're going to have an introduction to ratios, and we're going to use these marbles here to help us go through some examples. Now a ratio is a number that can help us compare two amounts. A ratio compares two amounts, or it actually could compare more amounts than that, but for what we're doing we're just going to do two amounts. A ratio can be written three different ways, and one of those ways is a fraction, which kind of goes along with what you've been working with on fractions. Let's go through a specific example here. Let's use these marbles, and let's say I wanted to find the ratio of blue marbles to red marbles. Blue marbles to red marbles. We'll assume these guys right here are the red ones, although they look a little bit maroon. Now I wrote this down here separately, blue marbles to red marbles, because this is really the key to writing our ratio, especially this word right here, to. So what we need to do is find the number of blue marbles, which we'll look up here, and I'm looking at these dark blue marbles here. We'll call these aqua. So I got 1, 2, 3 blue marbles. And the number of red marbles I have, these two right here, I'm calling red. So I got 2 red marbles. Now, the three different ways we can write a ratio. The first way is with a colon, like that, and we put that colon where the word to is. So blue marbles to red marbles. We have 3, 2, 2. Sometimes you'll see it with the word to just left in there. 3, 2, 2, like that. And the other way is as a fraction, 3 over 2. Now the order is important here. Whatever the first value is, in this case blue marbles, that would have to go in the numerator of your fraction, and the second value would have to go in the denominator. If we switch this problem around and we wanted to know the ratio of red marbles to blue marbles, that would just switch the order. So in other words, we would have 2 to 3, which we could write with a colon or the fraction 2/3. Okay, let's look at another example. Let's say we want to find the ratio of green marbles. Let's find the ratio of green marbles to the total number of marbles. Green marbles to the total number of marbles. So I'll say dark green, just to be specific, because there's some kind of funny looking ones in there. Some people might call that green, these two. I'm looking at these 3 dark green marbles right here. So I got 1, 2, 3 dark green marbles to the total number of marbles. So I got to count them all up. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I would say 3 to 17, or 3/17. Now what this kind of means in a fraction is that 3/17 of the marbles are green. And that's also the ratio of green marbles to the total, 3 to 17. So it kind of tells us how they compare to each other. Alright, let's look at one more example with our marbles. Let's say I want to find, I'm going to call these gray. Some of these colors are a little bit interesting, aren't they? Let's say I want to find the gray marbles to the aqua marbles. So the gray ones, these are the ones I'm calling gray right here. These 4. And then the aqua ones are these guys right here. There's one more. There it is. Alright, so it looks like we've got 4 gray marbles. 2, I'm going to just go with the fraction here, 2 aqua marbles. So we get 4 to 2. Now whether you write it as a fraction or we could do it this way with the colon, you want to look at these two numbers and see if you can reduce it. And we're most used to that with the fraction. So let's do that first. So we have 4 over 2. So let's write that as a fraction, 4 over 2. Look at that. Let's see, what would that reduce to here? let's see, we divide each of those by 2 and we get 2 over 1. So now we want to do the same thing with the colon. You think of it as 4 over 2. Say, what goes into both 4 and 2? Well, 2 goes into both 4 and 2, so I divide those both by 2 and I get 2 to 1 written as a colon. So you could do it either way, 2 over 1 or 2 to 1 with the colon. What does this mean? Well, basically what this means is that we've got twice as many gray marbles as aqua marbles. If the ratio is 2 to 1, if the ratio of gray marbles to aqua marbles is 2 to 1, that means we have twice as many gray marbles as aqua marbles. If we switch that around and do aqua to gray, then we would have 2 to 4, which would reduce down to 1 to 2, and as a fraction we could write that as 1 over 2. So what that would mean is that we would have half as many aqua marbles as gray marbles. So it tells us how these two compare to each other. Remember the original definition, a ratio compares to amounts? So what we're doing is we're comparing the aqua marbles to the gray marbles, so that there's half as many aqua marbles as gray marbles. Now if we switch it around, gray marbles to aqua marbles, compare the gray to the aqua, there would be twice as many. So there's a couple different ways to think about this with ratios. And in the next video I'm going to talk about ratios where we have to maybe convert some of the labels when we're dealing with time or liquid amounts or things of this nature.